What is happening in Hong Kong? This conversation hosted by Norwegian Pen, me, Kjersti Løken Stavrum. I'm president of Norwegian Pen. I will talk with Jason, a man with lots of talents, I will say, living in Hong Kong, being a lawyer, author, columnist, and an activist for democracy. Jason and I, we met in Bergen in the beginning of February this year on the Bergen International Literary Festival. We talked then about what is going on in Hong Kong, and it seems like ages ago, because at that time Jason were going home to Hong Kong and was concerned about Corona. And now I would like to talk with him again to ask what is going on in Hong Kong these days, Jason.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Kjersti. It's just, I mean, I couldn't believe that it was only 2 months ago that we met each other in Bergen. And at the time, remember, we were in the restaurant. I was joking about the need to smuggle toilet paper from Norway back to Hong Kong. And look how 2 months later, the coronavirus has completely turned the world upside down. Currently, we are still in sort of a half lockdown in Hong Kong. There's a ban on public gatherings, which of course will affect the way people exercise their right to assembly. And we're going to get more into that a little bit later. What's going on in Hong Kong? Perhaps I can try to give you a quick summary before we sort of unpack that a little bit more. Currently, as you know, or as your viewers would know, that the second half of last year, we had a major political uprising, a protest movement against an extradition arrangement, proposed extradition arrangement between Hong Kong and China, and that sparked 6 months of social unrest. Currently, the movement is on hold because of the coronavirus outbreak, and as I mentioned earlier, there's a ban on public gatherings of 4 or more people. So it's exceedingly difficult for protesters to meet and to stage any sort of demonstrations given the ban. It's just too easy for the police to come and break up the group and, as a matter of fact, write them tickets, because you can be fined a few $1,000s for violating the ban. Still, we've seen sporadic bursts of clashes between protesters and police, usually at shopping malls. And nowadays we have shopping mall protests. People still try to keep a social distance, maybe a few feet or meters apart, but that didn't stop the police from coming in and accusing people of congregating in public in violation of the ban. What else? We are kind of holding our breath, waiting for a pandemic to pass. There are a few important anniversaries coming up, including last year we had a 1 million person march on June 9th. And so June 9th, 2020 is fast approaching, and that's a 1-year anniversary of that 1 million person march. And there are other anniversaries, 1-year anniversaries like that in the calendar coming up. So people are waiting and seeing what's going to happen. If the pandemic subsides or is under control and the ban on public gatherings is lifted, then people will come back out in commemoration of those 1-year anniversaries. And on top of that, we have a general election coming up in September, where half of the lawmakers in the legislature will be up for re-election. And so we will see, so people are holding their breath and waiting to see how the election will play out, if the election is going to be held on time.
It seems like you think that the same democracy spirit that was in Hong Kong when I visited Hong Kong during New Year's Eve, you think the spirit is still there, or are you so shaken up by the coronavirus?
Right. There's no doubt about it. The pandemic has slowed down the protest movement. As I mentioned to you, or maybe to others in Norway, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Even toward the end of last year, things were running out of steam a little bit. Protesters started to repeat some of the tactics. I mean, things that was once a creative the first few times they did it, sort of they had to repeat what they did and sort of lost its novelty and lost sort of attention from the press media. And so we felt that the movement was running out of steam a little bit, running out of ideas a little bit, and then came the coronavirus outbreak. So that sort of gave people a convenient reason to take a break and to re-strategize and regroup. So it's not necessarily a bad thing.
I know that you've been warning against the protesters being violent or being aggressive, and when choosing background, I took this water background because when we met in Bergen, you explained to me what is characterizing this movement, namely being water.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit curious. During Corona, still, can you be water in some aspects of it, and can you be more digital, perhaps? Or tell me.
Right. The be water philosophy came from Bruce Lee, the martial arts legend. The idea or the philosophy is that you have to be flexible. You have to be like water, sort of adapt to the situation as it changes. And the be water philosophy has helped the protest movement prolong itself by constantly coming up with new ideas and being flexible and being fluid. During the coronavirus outbreak, I think the be water philosophy continues to play out. And as you hinted earlier, a lot of the fight is now being taken to social media. So there's a new phenomenon that sprang up a few weeks ago when Thailand jumped into the fray to aid Hong Kong and form this milk tea alliance. I'm not sure if you're aware that one of the things that Hong Kong is known for, one of the foods and drinks that Hong Kong is known for is our milk tea. It's sort of a perfect East meets West concoction. And if you go to a local Hong Kong coffee shop, they serve you milk tea that they strain from a net that looks like a woman's stocking. It's sort of a very Hong Kong thing. Thailand has its own version of milk tea that's very sweet, sort of lighter in color. And then Taiwan has the world-renowned bubble tea. So Thailand, Hong Kong, and Taiwan sort of formed this milk tea alliance against mainland China. It all started when the girlfriend of a Thai celebrity was being doxxed and cyberbullied by trolls from mainland China because she was wearing something like she was wearing a dress made in Taiwan, and then she posted a comment saying, "I love Taiwanese fashion," and then mainland fans or the netizens saw that comment and said, "Well, how dare you support Taiwan?" And then they started cyberbullying her. And that sort of slowly evolved into this larger social media movement where Thai people joined Hong Kong people and Taiwan people in sort of pushing back China. It happened about the same time when Taiwan was trying to get in with the WHO to have a seat at the table to sort of report the kind of lessons it had learned from its from the measures it has taken to handle the coronavirus outbreak. And as you know, the WHO sort of consistently denied Taiwan a say at the table. And so the three jurisdictions, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Thailand, sort of felt a collective a sentiment that we're all being bullied by mainland China. And so we formed this milk tea alliances. And it's really interesting how it played out on Twitter, on Facebook. So there are battles like that happening.
And it is provoking mainland, I guess.
But I mean, there's not much they can do because, these are people who post things in Thailand and people who post things in Taiwan. So it's I mean, those they sort of function relatively separately from mainland China.
Yeah, but I guess they are noticing. That was my
Yeah.
that was my meaning. When I visited Hong Kong during New Year's Eve on the 1st of January, actually, I read in the paper that there was a column with the headline "A SARS-like virus puts Hong Kong on alert," which was the first story I read on the coronavirus. And I read in the Hong Kong Free Press that the protesters insists on calling it the Chinese coronavirus. And you know, or we've we've experienced that the Chinese is not so very fond of being sort of the source for the virus. But why is that? Is that also sort of a local fight in the fight?
Yeah.
To call it Chinese?
Well, when you saw that news article, it must have been around Christmas time.
Yeah.
Last year. So we're talking about late December. At the time, the coronavirus hadn't spread to the rest of the world. It was mainly in Wuhan, this big city in China, and was slowly sort of making its way across the country, and then into places like Hong Kong and Macau. So at the time, calling the virus the Chinese virus is probably justified because the epidemic happened quite locally. But then I think the point you're getting at is that protesters continue to call it a Chinese virus even today, when it's pretty much spread throughout the world, and China is no longer the worst hit countries. We have places like Italy, Spain, the UK, and the US obviously being really hard hit. So is it still justified or logical to call it the Chinese virus? And I have to say, the answer is probably no. It's sort of, it's now a global virus. It came from China, it's started with China. And I think protesters and some politicians in the United States continue to call it the Chinese virus, mainly because there was a lot of anti-China sentiment that they wanted to get off the chest.
The economy in Hong Kong is in big trouble these days. Even this morning, when we are talking to each other, the Hang Seng index is falling again, and the economy has been of concern for Hong Kong for some time also. Where Corona is worsening it. Still, the economy of Hong Kong is somehow the background force behind the protesters for democracy. What is your perspective on the development of the economy, and how challenging do you perceive this development is?
Yeah, well, the impact on the economy has been quite uneven, and that has been the way outside of Hong Kong as well, that certain industries, certain sectors are harder hit than others. Anything that has to do with tourism obviously suffered a great deal. The trouble with Hong Kong is that even before the coronavirus has stopped international travels and tourists from coming into Hong Kong, we have had 6 months of social unrest. And those 6 months, tourists from around the world, visitors from around the world were being told by the governments not to visit Hong Kong because of the violence on the streets and so on. So commercial activities in Hong Kong had already suffered for 6 months in the second half of last year, and then came the virus that is still running its course. So yes, the short answer is that the economic impact is huge, and we have only seen the tip of the iceberg. The government has just announced the quarterly growth, and it shrank by about 10% quarter on quarter. And for Hong Kong, that's a big deal. How is it going to affect people's view on the protest movement? Do people still have an appetite for demonstrations? I think that's the question on everybody's mind, which is why we have to wait and see what's going to happen when the 1-year anniversary of the key protest dates roll around in the coming weeks, then we will be in a better position to see whether the public has had enough, that they are so protest fatigued that nobody will show up, or has, on the other hand, the coronavirus given protesters a new reason to come out to the streets, because people, have been generally quite displeased with the way the government has handled the virus. There were a lot of complaints about the Hong Kong government's reluctance to close the borders with China early on, and that has put tremendous stress on the public health, frontline workers in Hong Kong. And so we will have to see whether those frustrations will have any traction that will continue to play out to fuel the protest movement, or are people really sort of sick and tired of political fights and they want to go back to rebuilding the economy?
Will Beijing even think that it's not that bad, that the economy in Hong Kong is sort of in trouble?
Yeah, well, Beijing has a lot on its hands right now. It's basically going around the world practicing what a lot of people are calling the face mask diplomacy. In order to win back the world after, sort of causing the outbreak in the first place by, covering it up, at least at the beginning. And so it feels that its international reputation has damaged, and they needed to do a damage control. In the meantime, its economy is not doing great either, even though most of the cities are sort of removing the lockdown, and the people's lives are slowly returning to normal, but shops are still largely empty in China, and factories aren't fully staffed, and so the supply chain is being interrupted, and all of that has an impact on the economy. So right now it's very busy sort of rebuilding its reputation around the world, as well as resuscitating its economy at home.
Yeah. Let us go back a little bit to I read a piece the other day by your colleague that was also in Bergen, Anthony Depren. Okay. He wrote in a magazine the phrase, he called it a massive collective trauma in Hong Kong that was going on. And I thought I was reading about the protesters now, but I was actually reading his diary from 2014 on the umbrella movement. I know that you have written several books, one of them called No Country for Slow Men. You're obviously one of them. And I think maybe it's my impression that you're working on something, because I read a piece that you wrote on what we call in Norway au pairs, the maidens in Hong Kong. Can you tell me, is Hong Kong a place where you can always expect demonstrations and troubles and uprising, or is your take on this that it will eventually work out and democracy will prevail?
Right. That's a very difficult question to answer. I would take the first question first, whether Hong Kong people will always protest. I think protest is in our DNA. It's just part of our culture. We are a fairly vocal people. One of the things that distinguish Hong Kong from mainland China is our freedoms. And so we hold that dear and near to our heart. We realize that our freedoms is not only something we enjoy, but actually define who we are. It's such an integral part of our identity that we want not only to protect them, but exercise them. And so any chance we have, we want to exercise our freedom to protest, to assembly, our free press, our academic freedom, those are sacred to us. And so I think no matter what happened, no matter how tired, exhausted, and protest fatigue we are, we will still try to get our voice heard one way or the other. And then your second question is sort of a other question to answer, whether democracy will one day come to Hong Kong, and then everybody will be happy. I wish I had a crystal ball to tell you whether we're going to see that in our lifetime. Looking at the trend in the past few years, it is looking increasingly unlikely. The intervention from Beijing in Hong Kong affairs, despite the one country, two systems formula, has been increasingly blatant. Things are moving in the opposite direction from democracy. And so we are barely holding the line, defending what we already have, let alone trying to get more than what we currently enjoy. So currently, it seems a little pessimistic, but as the cliche goes, the night is always darkest before dawn. And so the idea is to just hold it out, you know, and keep hope and hope that tomorrow brings another day. Oh,
let me hope with you. We are there cheering for you, and hoping that the lockdown will be removed and that you can get out and be voter again and fight for freedom of the press and freedom of speech. Thank you so much, Jason. It was so nice talking to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you. Good luck.
Good luck to you too.
Thank you.